As the road to 2023 gets busier, political gladiators are gradually making known their strengths and capabilities for the electoral battle ahead. Some who have held grudges are either reconciling in the interest of their ambitions or abandoning reconciliatory moves. In Plateau State, the People's Democratic Party is preaching peace between all warring members of the party and appealing to the Plateau people to remain united, peaceful, and committed to the 2023 general elections for the rebuilding of the state's security, economy, and infrastructural development. The party believes it is on the right track to winning ways next year. But how true is this, especially when the friction between big names remains rife? Joining us from our Abuja studio is the spokesman, Senator Jeremiah Useni Group, Plateau State, PDP, Emmanuel Macham. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Nigerians.
Right. Talk to us. Is all well between your principal and Jonah Jang? Has the party, have the two really reconciled? And if that is true, what were the concessions made for the reconciliation to happen?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. And I wish to state categorically clear that within the Plateau State chapter of the PDP, there is no reconciliation yet. And I want to assure you our principal, distinguished Senator Jeremiah Useni, has not been contacted for any reconciliation to the best of our knowledge. And whatsoever that has been the grievances for the last 3 years has been there, unattended to. We are yet to have any forum that would will come to the table, round table, and discuss whatsoever are these issues. So I'm hearing the issue of reconciliation from you for the first time. And as I said, for the first time, I've never been part of any reconciliation that has taken place in Plateau State.
Well, John Akans was here last week, and he spoke glowingly about the relationship between Jeremiah Useni as general and Commodore David Jang. And he said when David Jang comes to town, he goes to see Jeremiah, and when Jeremiah comes to town, he goes to see David. So you are really sounding different note here. So what are the real grievances? Can you list them for us?
Yeah, I think, first of all, John Akans is not the spokesman of PDP. I wish to make this statement very clear. He's not the spokesman of PDP in Plateau State because there are courts judgment from the lower court to the Court of Appeal that have since nullified their existence as state escort of the party. And I want to assure you he is speaking from his mind as a person and as a member of the PDP in Plateau State. As for the relationship between Jeremiah Useni and former our leader, Senator Jonah Jang, it has been perfect. They have been together for a very long time. But when it comes to political interests, I think there are several unresolved issues that have not been attended to, as I said. And they may have their personal relationship ongoing, but when it comes to issues of the party, issues of the structure of the party, I think they still have a very long way to go.
All right. Mr. Bacham, I mean, we will come to the court issues very soon. But you, for instance, have been quoted as saying that one of the critical issues within your party is the principle of fairness. I wonder just how problematic that is for your party with elections just around the corner.
Yeah, I think there are several, Kelly, there are several issues which some people fail to understand within the state chapter of the party. Some of the issues from our group, from our own view, we had pushed for a consensus movement within the party so that each and everybody, right from the wards to the local government and the state, will be carried along in decision-making of the party. And when that principle of togetherness is missed, I think we got a lot of issues wrong right from there. It is not about party executive, it's not about who gets what. It is about the unity of the movement in the state. I think we got that wrong, and that is why some of us have been agitating and saying, no, we cannot go that way. When you have all the ESCO, you have everything in your sight, including the candidates of the party. Okay, what are you thinking the other group, especially our group, will come and offer to the party at this side of the divide and the movement. So the fairness, the issue of fairness have been missing. The issue of togetherness have been missing for more than 3 years. In fact, it started when they illegally removed the former state chairman of the party, Chief Damishi Sango. His removal was just totally uncoordinated, and it was a kind of, it is what brought about the whole scenario within the party in Plateau State. So to me, fairness has been missing. Reconciliation has been out of it. In fact, the only thing we are witnessing at the moment is blackmail, attacks, and whatsoever. So I think I have stood very well on that issue that, look, we need each other in this party. And if that is missing, actually, some of us will continue to agitate that we must come together to have a way forward in whatsoever we want to do.
Why is it so challenging to reconcile? Because the party has a job ahead of it, so to speak, in the coming elections. Don't you think party interests should be supreme at this point and everybody shift their swords?
Yeah, I think as I said, we miss a lot of steps, actually. And Veronica, as I said to you, honestly, some of us wish there is that reconciliation, and we missed the step right from the World Congresses. There were issues from the World Congresses. After a successful World Congresses, 66 federal wards were so changed here in Abuja. And coming to the local government Congress, the chairman of the state Congress then in 2020, Professor Maxwell Girado, suspended the local government Congress. Some people went behind the door and conducted the Congress. And coming to the state Congress again, another kangaroo state Congress was set up, and some of us went to court and challenged the outcome of the local government and the state Congress, and the court gave it to us. And that is why up to this moment, the national headquarters are yet to comply with that judgment. And as it is, I think we have missed a lot of steps, except there are extraordinary steps from the national headquarters. I don't see anything positive coming out of the situation.
When you say extraordinary steps from the headquarters, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at the possibility of complying with court judgments from the Court of Appeal, the lower court. We have about 3 court judgments that dissolve the state Congress. Once the national headquarters dissolve the state ESCO, and dissolving the state ESCO and coming back to have a united kind of structure of the party, and having a key role. And now we cannot be agitating for another primaries for the party because candidates have already emerged. But the truth is, we must have inclusiveness in the structure of the campaign, while the party structure must also be sorted out. In the absence of that, I think, I'm afraid, honestly, in the absence of that, because our group and that other group, we are standing rigidly on what we feel is the best that will bring together the party.
There were efforts.
The national headquarters has a responsibility, has the task to unite the Plateau State chapter, except if they are not interested in uniting the state chapter in Plateau State.
Then the congresses were dissolved because of, they said it was not legally constituted. And another general, Brigadier Tunde Ogbeha, was supposed to have come to take over and reconcile matters. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, after when PDP in Plateau State noticed that the State Electoral Commission is not willing to accept PDP into the election that took place to conduct local government executive, the national headquarters quickly sent in Senator Tunde Ogbeha-led caretaker committee to Plateau State. But somehow along the line, there were mistakes arising from the judgment of Justice Gang, which was delivered on the 20th November 2020. And in that judgment, it was clear, Justice Gang made it very clear that the national headquarters should take every step to conduct election in Plateau State. And 1 year later, the national headquarters now sent in Senator Tunde Ogbeha-led caretaker committee. So there was a vacuum existing already from the day of that judgment, 20th November 2020, to the day Tunde Ogbeha-led caretaker committee was consulted. So there was a vacuum, and there were several issues beyond what the Tunde Ogbeha-led caretaker committee could resolve. Then they took Plasek to court, and as a result, Plasek the lower court in Plateau State agreed with PLASEC that there is no properly constituted executive in Plateau State to warrant PDP's participation in the local government election. And they went to Court of Appeal and challenged that judgment. The Court of Appeal also affirmed what the lower court said. And they have not gone to Supreme Court. I heard Mr. Akan saying on national TV that they appealed to the Supreme Court. That is not true. They filed processes of appeal at the lower court. They have not gone to Supreme Court. What they did, as far as I'm concerned, as it stands now, is that they went to Federal High Court here in Abuja and obtained an injunction when they learned some few weeks to the primaries of our party. When they learned the national headquarters wanted to comply with the judgment of the Court of Appeal, they went to Federal High Court here in Abuja and obtained an injunction restraining the national headquarters from dissolving them in Plateau State. Now, by obtaining that injunction, yes, of course, the national headquarters has to comply and said, look, they did not dissolve them, but they did not proceed with the case and they did not go to appeal court, Supreme Court. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, of course, at the moment, Mr. Sam, I want you to find out the correspondences in Plateau State today, as at today, between INEC and PDP Plateau State chapter, is handled by the North Central Vice Chairman, Dr. Theophilus Dakatshang, is now overseeing affairs of the party in Plateau State. Why can't the national act? Why can't the national put in a caretaker committee or took necessary steps to make sure there are properly consulted executives in Plateau State? When Dakatshang is coming in now, is he coming in as a caretaker committee, or is he writing correspondences to INEC as who? As not general vice chairman? Does the constitution of the party allow that? As I said to you, there are several issues which, to us, it's not right to take it on national TV like TVC, but because there has been no step whatsoever to address some of these issues, that is why, at this point, our group, we must strategize to make sure our interest is protected. So I think that is what I can say for now on that.
All right, Mr. Macham, we need to quickly go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll return to this conversation. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Before we went on break, we were looking at the crisis rocking the Plateau State chapter of the People's Democratic Party. And we have speaking with us, spokesman of the Senator Jeremiah Useni Group, Plateau State PDP, Emmanuel Macham. Before we went on the break, you were talking about the need for the national headquarters to constitute a caretaker committee to address the situation with what is happening with the party's chapter in Plateau State. I'm wondering why it is taking so long for them to constitute this caretaker committee, and if they are not seeing the need. I mean, what is the body language you are reading from the national headquarters with regards to resolving this crisis?
I think the body language I can sense from the national headquarters is the fact that the national headquarters has declared its willingness to respect the restraining order from the Federal High Court in Abuja. And I think since the case at the Federal High Court Abuja is not proceeding, I expect the national headquarters to act and consult a caretaker committee. But it seems there are some people whom the national headquarters is respecting their interest on the issue of Plateau State. And these people maybe have assured the national headquarters that they have what it takes maybe to make sure all what is going on does not affect whatsoever they feel is the unity of the party. But as I said, if the national headquarters did not act fast before the general election, I am afraid, because there are influx of members from the other group who are coming into our own group, and they are coming in with various interests that I know it must be protected before the general election or after the general election. So I think it is in the interest of the party in Plateau. So PDP was founded in Plateau. I don't see any reason why the national headquarters did not pay attention to what is happening in Plateau State. And honestly, I can't tell exactly what will happen.
Let me put in two questions very quickly, Mr. Emmanuel. One, the issues playing out in your party, issues around power play, issues around disagreements, misunderstanding, and all of that, have these issues made your party stronger, or do you think things are falling apart for your party as the elections draw near? Secondly, who exactly is the leader of your party in Plateau State?
Yeah, I think these lingering issues within the state chapter have made the party very weak because, to my mind, I think to some extent you will discover our group have more sympathy on the ground because when you look at what has happened in Plateau State chapter for a very long time, you will discover that there are sharp divisions. In fact, several members of our group have decided to play it low, but I can assure you, even on the ground, what is going on, you can't tell. But that has sharply divided the party in Plateau State, actually. And I don't know, the second question, what did you say, Kelly?
Yes, I'm asking, who exactly is the leader of your party in Plateau State? We have a two-term governor of that state, a former governor.
I think there is an understanding within the constitution of the party that the gubernatorial candidate of a party during a period of the election year or after remains the leader of the party. To my mind, that is why we have held on to the fact that Jeremiah Useni remains the leader of the party, because to the best of our ability, he has not handed over that mantle of leadership to the new candidate of the party, Barrister Caleb Mofan. So I feel at the moment our group, we are holding on to the fact that Jeremiah Useni remains our leader of the party, while the other group have what it takes also to keep on holding to what they believe. But I believe after the conciliation, we will definitely recognize whosoever that is the gubernatorial candidate of the party in Plateau State as the leader of the party.
Now, talking about gubernatorial candidate, the man Caleb Mutwang is supposed to be the gubernatorial candidate. Whose faction does he belong to? And is it, if he's the leader, is he the leader of both factions?
I think we cannot, there are processes, several processes, some that several wrong processes that brought the primaries of the party. But I want to assure you at this point, as I said earlier, we cannot go back to demanding for a fresh primaries in Plateau State. But the truth is that after the reconciliation, actually we recognize Caleb as the leader of the party after the reconciliation. But there are mixed reaction and mixed feelings. Even before coming to this studio, I received a lot of calls in the morning. So people were saying, no, I should not talk about our chances in the. I said, no. There are issues that you cannot run away from it when you already have issues on ground. But I can assure you, once Jeremiah Useni hands over to Caleb Mufang as leader of the party, we will all fall in, key insight, and work for the party. And that will definitely take place after the reconciliation.
Is he going to hand over?
I can assure you of that.
Is he going to hand over to Mutwang? Jeremiah Useni?
Yeah, of course, of course. As he is the new leader of the party.
If he's the new leader, is he a leader of both parties? Is Caleb now the reconciliation of both parts of the party? And the other question is,
yeah,
if the congresses, hold on, please. If the congresses are seen to be null and void, so how can the same thing that is null and void produce a legitimate candidate? Does it not put you in a very problematic case in the court that you probably do not have a legitimate candidate, not only for governorship, for Senate, for House of Reps, for State House of Assembly? Does that not create jeopardy for all of you?
Yeah, there are issues, some that I cannot come out on national TV to say, because actually, even after our fight, we also want the party to be strong. But I can assure you there are several issues within the state charter that are wrong. And there are steps that were taken before the primaries. To me, if those steps are sustained, that's why I said correspondences between INEC and the party now in Plateau State is handled by the North Central Vice Chairman, Mr. Dakar Shan. I think those are the measures put in place to make sure our party is not completely removed out of the 2023 general election. And there were mechanisms actually put in place by the national headquarters to checkmate some of these issues that made the declaration of the state ESCO as null and void.
Right.
But I assure you, once the reconciliation is done, and we will come over all these processes and technicalities that we are talking about. But at the moment, I don't wish to go deeply into the main issues, because it will definitely not be good for our supporters and funds across the state.
Right. Now, you've been speaking about reconciliations. Is your group ready or open to reconciliations? And what concessions are they ready to make to ensure that things work?
Yeah, I think there has been several reconciliation in the past from distinguished Senator David Mark. At some point, the governor of Benue said autumn came in. At a point, we were in Bukola Saraki's residence for another phase of the reconciliation. At the point, Governor of Rivers State, Wike, was in Jos for the same reconciliation. And I can assure you that the only problem with all the reconciliations that have taken place is the fact that nobody has ever sat down to analyze what are the issues. They just came to say, forgive and forget, let's move on. Nobody is saying, okay, what are the main issues? How do we go about it? Nobody cares about that area. And I wish to assure you that at some point, even the other group were issuing suspension letter to members of our group, including myself. They issued about, let me say, 7 suspension letters to me as a person, including several people in the state. But when they are talking to us now, they will say, forgive and forget. Okay, at which stage do you forgive and forget? In some wards, the 66 federal ward I told you, some of the people won their election in their ward, but here in the national headquarters in Abuja, Wadata Plaza, their names were changed. Okay, are you now saying we should forgive and forget and allow the 66 federal ward to go like that? Or are you now saying that the local government congress that was not conducted properly, we should just forgive and forget and then forget about it? No. There must be areas that must be revisited. And I wish to assure you that part of the issues happening that are hampering the reconciliation process, I was with our father, Senator Jonah Jang, in his residence. There are several blackmails, several issues happening in between the leaders that are not right. When I heard the fact that the other group are accusing our group that the governor of Plateau is the one behind us, I raised that observation with our leader, Senator Jonah. I said, no, sir. To the best of my knowledge, the Useni group have never received a single dime from APC government. But they keep emphasizing, even as at this moment that I was to appear before your station, that it's the same APC that is sponsoring us. Are they now saying our group is totally handicapped, that we do not have the capacity to handle our affairs, to project our interests? These are some of the main issues hampering the reconciliation at some point. So
okay,
just
for 1 second.
Forward,
just for 1 second. Some people say that Wike, Jang is for Wike and Jeremiah is for Atiku. True or false?
Yeah, I can assure you 110%, Sam, that Jeremiah Useni and his followers in Plateau State are 120% behind Atiku Abubakar. But the statements on air credited to our leader, Senator Jonah Jang, suggest the other way around. And I can assure you, those are some of the few things within the state charter that need to properly be looked inside. If we are talking as a party, you are saying we should forgive and forget to work for the gubernatorial candidate brought in by the group close to Jonah Jang. And okay, some of you are also not working for the presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Okay, well, how do you want us to reconcile the whole issue?
All right. We have to leave this conversation at this point. Emmanuel Macham, spokesperson for Senator Jeremiah Useni.
Thank you. I wish you can also invite me so that I will continue to give you insight. At least in Plateau State, there are happenings even within the political system.
Definitely, we invite you again. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.